On the 10th day of Christmas, Felicia gave to me 10 Goosebumps stories, 9 reasons why she left me, 8 unpaid bills, 7 times that Michael told me about his ice rink skating story in his birthday, 6 matches on Tinder, 5 stories terrible for the winter, 4 times that I enjoyed reading this book because they had really good stories, 3 hours of completionist explanation on a single Spine Tingler's book, 2 shitty takes out of Monster Blood that I don't want to ever hear again, and 1 main reason I don't trust Bungie because of this book. Oh, and I forgot, 0 reasons why I'll reread it again. Merry Christmas during June, all right? It's June. In the spring, in bright sunlight, after mowing the lawn and going to take a run around my neighborhood because your boy's putting on some weight, even though it's not Christmas. This is a Christmas weight, I promise. I'm here talking about Tales Book 6, about the winter, all right? More and more and more tales to give you goosebumps, and more and more and more reasons why these Tales book stories are either hit or miss. And in this case, a majority of it was a miss, all right? This is long overdue, but welcome, members of my channel, fans of my channel, to the very first Goosebumps Tales story video review out of me, all right? This is the first time I'm going to be reviewing the book out of Tales stories from Goosebumps. There are 6 Tales books. This is the final Tales book. I'm going to be talking about it today in this review. Now, this was not originally planned to be the first one that I wanted to talk about, but I have such a love-hate relationship with this book, mostly hate, and that's why I want to talk about it, all right? Because this book right here was quite the divisive one amongst the Discord where I talk amongst my other Goosebumps friends. Psych, it wasn't. Only one person defended this book, and it was you, Spongy. Listen, I love you, Spongy. Great guy. Go check out his blog. His review on this is shit. This book is shit. Don't listen to him. He's going to sit there and praise it. This book is straight doo-doo water, Taco Bell gas, Chipotle leftovers after 5 days of sitting out. All right, don't read this. Don't get it out. Anyone who defends this book is the type of people to go to the gas station and the first snack you pick out is sunflower seeds. If you pick out sunflower seeds from the gas station as the first choice, you're getting snubbed. I'm straight clocking you right there. It is what it is. Jack Reacher, just elbow to the face. That's all you're getting. You're gonna be out cold. You're gonna be out there, and then I'm gonna pack you in the dirt, and I'm gonna plant them same sunflower seeds that you chewing on. All right? You don't get that the same way. You don't read this book and go, "This is it." You can't. All right? You just can't. Don't do it. All right? Don't do it. Don't never do it. Don't do it. Please don't do it. All right? This book is a majority of it trash. There are, however, 5 stories. Oh my God, it's not 5 stories. Like 4. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4 stories. 4 stories that were actually pretty good. And one of them is great. One of them is fantastic. And the other 3 are good. They're good. They're very good stories. The rest of this book is a big old piece of trash, according to Stone Cold Steve Austin. And I'm going to go through each one of these stories and let you know my own thoughts. They will vary because some of these are great. Some of these are amazing. One of them is amazing. And the other ones are bad. And 2 of these are... Never mention them. Ever around me. Ever around me. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't. Because if you do, listen, man. I got a pile of dirt out there. We got a fresh garden. I got a pile of dirt. Dig it 6 feet deep. And I got a whole lot of sunflower seeds. And that's where you're going right there. All right? Let's get into this review. If you like this review, hit that subscribe button down below. It's free. Hit that like button. It's also free. Comment down below. Let me know your own thoughts and opinions. And check out some of the other content on my channel. Without further ado, let's get into this review. We're talking about more and more and more Tales to Give You Goosebumps, otherwise known as the last Tales book, which was specifically focused on the winter and most importantly, Christmas. This is a Christmas book. This is a winter book. So for those people out there, I would advise you to read it during the winter. Read it during, that time. That's when I read this book. I read this book during the winter. I believe I did, when it was snowing outside. So I read it at the right time. But this book did not hit for me, well, from what I was expecting. And then again, I heard one person's opinion versus like 4 people's opinions who were saying it's shit. And I aligned myself with the shit after I kept reading each story. So let's go through with this. So I actually have my laptop out so I can remember what the stories are. And I will not remember the names of the characters. I have it on the wiki. I can click on them and read you out the names of the characters. I'm not going to do that because who cares about the characters? This is Goosebumps, right? And especially it's short stories, so you really don't care. But the first story is called Don't Sit on the Grunk. Now, this story is essentially very similar to a Gremlins ripoff. And also, if you've watched Haunting Hour, a creature is stirring, or a creature was stirring. That episode is similar to this short story in a way. Now, this short story is about a boy on Christmas, and he's got his family around him, and they're all opening up gifts by the Christmas tree. And when he gets a chance to open up his gift, he opens it and sees that it's a blue koosh ball. And for those who don't know what a blue koosh ball, or what a koosh ball is in general, it's like a squeezy ball, like one of those like jelly-like balls that you can squeeze. And they have those, some of you guys may know this, it's like those like fiber wires, those like wires that stick out that like makes the ball hairy. Some of you kids that were born in the 2000 and earlier, like you get like me and people that are older than me, you guys will know about the koosh balls. They're like not hairy, but they got like these plastic fibers on them. You could squeeze them, rub it around in your hand, roll them around on the table, that kind of thing. So he gets his blue koosh ball, opens it up. Nobody knows who got this gift for him. No one really knows where this gift came from, but it's there. And as he's feeling up the gift, he realizes that it feels unnaturally warm. And on top of that, he feels like it's moving, that it's breathing. And when his family starts grabbing onto it and touching it, they realize that, oh, it's warm, it's breathing, it's moving. And every time he plays with it, it starts purring. So they realize, well, this may not be a plastic koosh ball that we can play with, or a jelly koosh ball that we can play with. This may be an actual creature. And from then on, that the story kind of goes from there, where it talks about how they have to take care of the creature and what may or may not be the rules involving how to handle the creature, what to do with it, and what will happen if you break the rules of the creature. And let's just say it has some crushing consequences. I'll leave it at that. I gave this one a 7 out of 10. I would say this is a very average Goosebumps short story. It felt pretty average. It was okay. I had a decent time with it. I thought it was fun. The ending I liked. The ending is fun. A little bit goofy of a story. A little bit, kind of playful of a story. I think it's average. I think it's a good story. Decent. Nothing special. Nothing serious. But some people really like the ending. So I guess that's some points there. But I gave it 7 out of 10. I found it pretty average. And it's called the Gronk. The koosh ball creature is called the Gronk. So in terms of the Gronk as a monster, it's okay. I think it's fine. It's kind of like a toy, play on combining a toy and a creature, and another feature of a prominent Goosebumps monster. And yeah, it's a decent story. The next one is, let's just say I got a bottle of cologne here. I would rather open this up, spray it right in my mouth, and poison myself than ever reread this dog shit story. This story is straight reindeer shit. All right, this is a straight reindeer shit story, and it is called Nutcracker Nightmare. And I would much prefer John Wick kicking me in the nuts with his black steel-toed or whatever dress shoes than rereading this story, because this book is a nightmare, and I'd much rather crack my own nuts than reread this story ever again. And I would never understand why anyone defended this. Sponger, yeah, you. This story is about a young girl who basically wants, her parents want to go to a play. They're taking her babysitter, or like her teacher. It's either a babysitter or some kind of teacher that goes with the parents and her to this Nutcracker play that's going on. And she doesn't want to go. She doesn't understand why she has to go to this Nutcracker play. It seems to be the teacher / babysitter's idea, and she feels like it's a mistake to even go there. But the parents are so adamant, and they're really mad the fact that she's such a Debbie Downer, that she's always so negative, that she never wants to do anything like this. So they're just like, you know what? No, you have to learn discipline. You have to learn patience, and you're going to learn it here, where you watch this Nutcracker show. The teacher's like, yeah, this is, I don't know, I imagine the Nutcracker teacher lady as like the woman in John Wick 3, the director. Is that the one from the ballet place? That's what I imagined her as, where she was like, yes. That's how she sounds. I don't know how she sounds, but she'd be like, yes, very good girl. Go watch the play. Yes, very good, very good. I don't know what accent that is, but some deep European accent, some Russian accent. That's what this lady is. And she takes her to the Nutcracker play. And as the Nutcracker play is going on, the girl feels like it's taking forever. So she tries to get up, tries to go get some snacks to the concession stand, go to the bathroom. And then as she's going there, her teacher kind of meets her and, tells her, this is going to be a great learning experience. You're going to learn a lot of discipline. And trust me, you're going to learn a lot of patience, more than you can imagine, by going through and watching this play. She's like, all right, whatever. And as she tries to head back to her seat, she feels like it's taking forever. She feels like the first act is going on forever. And then as she's there, she tries to get up and leave. And then she realizes that she feels like she can't leave. And there is no way to leave. And she's suddenly guided back to her seat. And the play keeps on going longer and longer. Much longer than expected, to where the first act should only take 20 minutes, and now she feels like she's been there for a couple of hours. So it feels like she's in somewhat of a time loop or time distortion, and something is going on that she has to worry about, because she notices that the people around her and her parents look as though they are aging. That's right. Maybe I gave away a little bit too much about the story, but cover up the finger. Can't lose this. This is a kid's review. It's not a kid's review. It's me reviewing a kid's book, but cover up the finger. This story is straight reindeer shit. This story is straight dung inside of your Christmas stocking. This story is straight Chipotle leftovers, eating that and then releasing gas. That's what this is. This story is terrible. This story is so boring. I hate Nutcracker Nightmare. It's one of my lowest rated stories. In my opinion, it's the worst story in the book. Some people disagree because there's another terrible story on here. But this story is so bad. It gets a 3 out of 10 for me. This is one of the most boring. I give it either 3 out of 10 or 4 out of 10. I don't care. But I'm leaning towards 3 out of 10. This is one of the most boring piece of shit stories that I've ever read out of Goosebumps. It feels like it goes on forever, and people are like, oh, that's the point. It's actually like a Jordan Peele hidden message. Shout out to you, Jordan Peele, but that's the type of stuff people be saying about your movies. That's what they're trying to do with this, and this is a kid's horror book. It's not that serious. But it's actually the message. Stein is actually a real genius. You don't see it at all. This story is dog shit. It goes on forever. It's boring. Straight up, nothing happens. All that happens in this story is the girl complaining nonstop about how long it's going on for, the play going on, the parents yelling at the kid or complaining to the kid about the kid being obnoxious, and the teacher being like, yes, very good, yes, brilliant, yes. This is the beauty of ballet. This is the beauty of being disciplined. Yes, very good. That's all that is. That's all it is. It is so dragged on that it's like, why? Why can you not just end it so quickly so we can get out of here, please? And yet they don't. Yet they keep you there. And nothing happens. And then you get to basically the climax of the book, which is the good part. It's the good part of the book. And then as soon as the story looks like it's about to end, it just completely cuts off the good part and just ends you on a stupid little aha reveal moment. You think you know what's going on, but it's actually much worse than it is. But it's done in such a shitty way. It's done in such a slap in your face way, because the actual good part, the actual horror of the story, is saved until the very end, and only a small bit of it and then rushed, and then it's implied to go on for whatever. Whatever, dude. The story's big old piece of trash. 3 out of 10. It sucks. Screw this story. Alright? Next one is actually good. The Ice Vampire is the next story, right? And the Ice Vampire is about these kids in New York, and it's a snowy day. I think it's in New York. And essentially there's this ice sculpting contest that's going on, and they're all making these different ice sculptures, and they're kind of having people judge them, rate them, and there's going to be a winner by the end. And as they're making these different ice sculptures, they make this ice cobra. The two boys in the story make this huge ice cobra that, you know, they're very proud of. They're like, oh yeah, we're gonna win this one. It looks great. It looks amazing. They're gonna love it. But then they notice that there is an even much greater ice sculpture statue in the park that they're getting judged in, and it's this ice vampire, this vampire ice statue that's there, and it looks super detailed. It looks terrifying because not only is it super detailed, it looks like it's realistic. It looks like it's about to come out and attack you. It's got its fangs glistening in the sunlight. You know, it's cold to the, it's, you know, freezing to the touch. It looks like it's about to come out and grab somebody. And then as the contest is going on and they meet up with one of their friends and talk to them, they come back and walk around and they realize that the ice sculpture of the vampire is actually not at the same place that it was before. And they're like, huh, like, did someone take it away? Did it win? Because I'm pretty sure the ice vampire wins the contest, and then when they try to go back and find it, they don't know where it went. So they decide, all right, you know what? This thing won, and it's so freaky and so detailed. We're gonna come back later and try to find it. So that's what they do. They try to come back later, try to find it, and then that's where the rest of the story happens. I don't want to spoil what happens, but let's just say things might not be all that it seems, and maybe there is something to this sculpture and potentially how dangerous it can be within the moments where inanimate objects can potentially turn. Fill in the blank, kids. All right, that's all I'm gonna leave it. It's a very good story. I think I gave it a 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed that one. I had a fun time with it, and even though the one aspect of it is pretty goofy, I think it still works. And then the ending is also pretty scary in terms of what it implies. Yeah, pretty scary story. The next one, very good story. I gave this one an 8.8 out of 10. I think just below a 9. But it's still a very good story. 8.5 or 8.8 out of 10, one of those, or somewhere in between there. It's called A Holly Jolly Holiday. And what this is about a girl who essentially, her older sister goes shopping for Christmas, and she's very, you know, active and, you know, extroverted and all that stuff. But this little girl is the main character, and she's very introverted. She just likes watching TV, likes being by herself. She doesn't really fancy all this going out and socializing, and she doesn't really trust in the whole like feeling about, oh, we have to live up to the festivities of Christmas, we have to do everything we're supposed to do. I really just want to relax here and not have to worry and just watch TV and be to myself. You know, I kind of feel that to a degree. But then her sister comes back and brings back this VHS, this DVD. Well, not DVD, VHS, DVD, whatever. A VHS tape. And then it's of this holiday special for this this kind of actress slash character in this movie. Very old school character, you know, bright orange hair, got a very, you know, beautiful like Christmas sweater, I guess, and very peppy and jolly, and, you know, the kind of like, if you know Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz, imagine that type of actress, you know, a little bit older Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz, and that sort of look to her, the sort of dress, the old school, the Christmas outfit, the Christmas joy, running around in a nice neighborhood and singing and being super jolly and all that stuff. And as her sister, her older sister, sits down to watch this VHS tape of this show, or this movie, which she loves so much, and this is a movie that she's seen all the time. This is a movie that she watches every Christmas multiple times, and now she's got this special VHS from the store that she got. Her little sister leaves, and then when she comes back, she sees that her mom is there watching with the older sister for this, you know, this movie. And she's like, okay, all right, like, you know, all right. She just walks away, and then when she comes back, she realizes that not only are they singing to the movie, their voices are changing to match the main character of the movie, and the look of their hair is becoming more orangish, and they're offering cookies to each other, and, you know, they've got much more pep to them and Christmas spirit and this overacting going on. And as this story continues, you may realize that there may be something more to this VHS tape of this movie than is expected, and therefore things are getting pretty weird, pretty creepy, and pretty holly jolly, if you get my drift. That's the story. I give it 8.5 to 8.8 out of 10. It's a very good story. I enjoyed it a lot, and I can see why people like it. It's got a very iconic villain. I don't remember her name, but let me see if I can pull it up here. It's like maybe like Cindy something or Betsy. I don't know. It's like a really old name. But she reminded me a lot of the person from Susie Snowflake. That's the name. Okay. So the main character in the movie is called Susie Snowflake, and yeah, Susie Snowflake, pretty fun character. The idea of this VHS potentially affecting things, and the horror in this story is more unusual, more Twilight Zone-ish. It feels a lot more like a Twilight Zone episode, and yeah, it's very fun. I enjoyed it quite a bit. The next story in this book is one that I really love. This is a 10 out of 10 in my book. I absolutely love this story, and it's called Why I Hate Jack Frost. And Completionist, my friend Goosebumps Completionist, I think also gave this one a 10 out of 10. We both love this story. Why I Hate Jack Frost is about a kid who moves to Arizona, right? He used to live in a very snowy place, and now he moves to Arizona, and he feels very out of body. You know, he feels very out of his world because he was used to having like white Christmases and cold temperatures during the winter, but now he lives in Arizona where it's scorching hot outside, and you know, it's a desert during the winter. And when he goes to the shopping mall, he sees people are in shorts and people are in Hawaiian island shirts. It doesn't feel right. You know, there's no real Christmas feeling, there's no real winter feeling that he gets from where he was back home. And he left behind all his friends, all his people, so he feels very isolated in this desert, and he doesn't feel comfortable in there. So what ends up happening is he ends up getting this snow globe, and in this snow globe, it's said to be the home of Jack Frost. That's what the person he bought it from said, where this snow globe is the home of Jack Frost. This is where Jack Frost is, and Jack Frost is described as this mythical character who can bring forth winter, control the snow, control the winter, and yeah, that's essentially what Jack Frost is. And as he gets his snow globe and he brings it over to his house, and he shows it to his mom, and his mom's like, all right, let's put it up on the Christmas tree as a decoration. He's like, all right. And he loves looking at it. He thinks it's super cool. He goes to bed that night, and he dreams that he's in this winter wonderland. And in this winter wonderland, he meets, snowmen that are alive, these, different creatures and aspects of the winter and Christmas, and he meets Jack Frost. And Jack Frost is this short guy in a green elf costume. He's got orange hair, and he seems to have ice fingers. He seems to have these long fingers that are icy and cold, and he sees them, and he's like, hey, you're the character that's in the snow globe, right? He's like, yes, I'm Jack Frost. I bring forth the winter, and here you can play and enjoy the winter all you want, all right? You can enjoy your time here. So he ends up, enjoying his time in the dream, and then he wakes up abruptly, and the next morning when he's walking around in the scorching heat, he feels cold. Oddly, he feels cold. And each night, he keeps having dreams of being in this winter wonderland with Jack Frost and enjoying the time with this alive snowman, reindeer, and sliding down these, huge mounds of snow, going sledding. And then, he'll wake up, and each day he gets colder and colder. His mom thinks he's sick. He can't even be outside. He's freezing. And then it all builds up to a reveal revolving around what may be going on, what's the secret behind his dreams, does it have any connection to the snow globe, and then the twist is very clever and very dark and disturbing as well, and that's why I love this story. Jack Frost, amazing character, amazing villain, and I think you guys will love reading this book, or this story. So go check it out, go read it. It is a very good story. I gave it 10 out of 10. Right now, it's my favorite story that I've read out of the two. I read two Tales to Give You Goosebumps books, the summertime one, with the camping, and then this one, and this is my favorite story out of the 20 stories that I've read so far from there. So yeah, this is very, very quite good. Next one, Marshmallow Surprise. This one I don't really remember a lot of. I remember it's this family of a girl and her two younger brothers who I think go sledding down this mountain of snow, a popular place where kids go sledding, and they slide down and they crash into this fence because they're going too fast, and they go into this neighborhood, a neighborhood in the backyard of this very grouchy woman, this woman that's known to be very angry, very mean, very ill-spirited towards kids. Every time something happens where someone throws a ball in her neighborhood or in her backyard, or I keep saying neighborhood, in her backyard or front yard, or does something accidentally to her house, she will take revenge, be very rude, call the police, do all this extra stuff. So as they crash through the fence of her backyard, they run into her mailbox and they tip it over. So they knock over her mailbox, and this freaks them out because they're like, oh my gosh, she's gonna come out, she's gonna, try to hurt us, she's gonna try to call the police, she's gonna do something worse to us. And then she comes out and she actually invites them in, and she says, no, don't worry about it, we'll take care of it. Just come inside with me, I invite you in for some hot cocoa. And she takes them in for some hot cocoa, and they feel pretty uncomfortable. They don't know if it's really safe. She's sort of a stranger, and she's got this reputation around the neighborhood for being this ill-spirited woman. So what's really going to happen? And then as the story goes on, you find out potentially what could be going on, and then you're revealed as to what's going on. And again, this story, very mediocre, very shit. I didn't really care about it. I think I gave it a 5 out of 10, which is still a bad story, but it's sort of just like, eh. It's like, yeah, it's bad. I wouldn't recommend it, but it's also not the worst thing in the world, especially compared to Nutcracker Nightmare and another story that's coming up. But yeah, I gave it a 5 out of 10. It was all right. Next one, Monster on the Ice. This is considered to be the worst story in this book of 10 short stories. I'd give it a 4 out of 10. I think it's a little bit above Nutcracker Nightmare, but it's still a very reindeer shit terrible story. I do not recommend it. It's about a kid who gets these ice skates for his birthday, and they're called monster skates, and his little sister tries to wear them. She wants to put them on the dog, and he's like, no, these are for me, I love them, I'm going to go use them when I play hockey with my friends. He goes to play hockey with his friends, and as he's playing hockey, he realizes that he's not acting like himself, and his friends also pick up on it, and they realize that he's acting much more angry, much more ferocious, not as kind. He's not acting like the normal kid they're used to, and this makes them raise an eye and wonder what's really going on. So yeah, that's Monster on the Ice. There's a twist at the climax that you're like, what? And then the twist ending is also like, 4 out of 10. Very bad. Not good. Didn't enjoy it. Yeah, it's a very stupid story. I don't care about it. Next one, Double Dip Horror. This is the last actually of the very good stories in this book. So it's Ice Vampire, Holly Jolly Holiday, Why I Hate Jack Frost, and then this is the last one. Double Dip Horror is actually a very good story. I would probably give this one like a 9.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. I give it a 9.4, 9.5 out of 10. This is a great story. It's about these twin sisters who are working at the ski lodge to go help out some kids with skiing lessons. And as they're hanging out in the hotel, as they're hanging out in the lodge, they feel like they have some strange encounters where one of the girls goes to the ice machine. She feels like something's watching her. She feels like she can feel a presence in this empty hotel resort, this camp resort, and she feels like, oh, this place may be haunted. Maybe there's something going on. And then as they're teaching the kids, what they end up doing is that they'll have, since they're twin sisters, they'll have one of the sisters teach the kids how to do skiing, and then the other sister will be outside going down the mountains and doing skiing without the teachers and other people seeing them, so they don't get in trouble for it. Because I think the twin sister was brought along just so they could work out this plan, because I think the people think that it's only one person that came, but it's actually two of them, so that's kind of like the thing going on. And with these weird experiences happening at the hotel, they go and start teaching these kids, and there's one specific kid in the bunch who's like super rebellious, kind of like a jerk kid, always trying to race them, always trying to cause trouble, a daredevil, always trying to try to outbeat the other kids. Sometimes this kid will risk the lives of other kids by potentially getting them into accidents, and then these girls and the teachers are yelling, this girl who is a teacher is yelling at him to stop being so reckless, because you're going to get yourself hurt, you're going to get others hurt. And then as they keep trying to tell the teachers about it, the teachers are very like nonchalant, they don't really care, they kind of brush it off and just tell them to focus on the other kids, make sure they're safe, and they're like, all right, whatever. And as the story goes on, there's a big twist, which I'm not going to talk about because that will spoil the whole story. But there's a big twist as to what may be going on at this camp resort, what may be going on with somebody, some character that may explain all these weird occurrences and these weird feelings. And it is a very dark story because the ending is surprisingly dark, surprisingly disturbing for what a Goosebumps story tends to be. and I quite enjoyed it for that. I think it was a pretty good story, and I had a fun time with it. It's very scary, very dark. I would give it a 9.5 out of 10. Almost like a perfect package of a story. But I do like Why I Hate Jack Frost more, but this is the second best story in the book to me. All right, next one, and the second last story, Santa's Helpers. All right, these kids are basically the brother and sister. They're playing chess. They have a little sister, cute little sister, who always tries to hang out with them and do stuff with them, but they kind of treat her like a little girl. They don't really treat her with seriously. And then they want to go skiing out on this mountain. They go, and then her mom, their mom, says to bring the little sister along. They don't want to. They feel like she'll be a nuisance, but she really wants to go. She wants to have fun. So they bring her with her, and they play mean jokes on her. Well, they'll take her down sledding, and then they will bring the sled back up, and then they'll ride down without her, and she has to wait up there because she's too little to go down the hill. She can't catch up to them. And they're sort of bullying her like this and telling her that, oh, she's too young, and they're acting like they don't know her and all this stuff. You know, just mean sibling stuff. And then what ends up happening is that the brother and sister end up going sledding for a lot longer than expected because the mom has to get the little sister because it's getting late out, and the little sister's complaining, hey, they didn't let me do any of the sledding, they were treating me so bad. And then the mother sort of brings her along, takes her away, and then these two get caught in a net. And let's say they potentially get kidnapped by some people, and these people may or may not be related to the title of this very story that I mentioned. And the twist of the story, the climax and the twist, is quite funny. A little bit of revenge revolving a certain character. But it's a very sort of just mediocre story. Didn't really care for it too much. Didn't really, I guess, hate it or anything. I would probably give this one like 5.5 out of 10. I'm probably going to give it a 5.5 out of 10. It's not a good story. It's still relatively bad, but the twist ending has a little bit of fun to it, and also on top of that, I did like the little bit of humor involving that ending as well. But the rest of the story is just sort of whatever. There's a bit of comedy in the story which kind of raises it, but it's really about it. It gets a 5.5. And finally, the last story. There are these two brothers who get a gift from their uncle because their uncle is a guy who travels around a lot, goes to Japan, goes to Egypt, goes to different places. It's called Attack of the Christmas Present. Sorry, I'm so over talking about this book because this last story is also not good. The story is called Attack of the Christmas Present. Two brothers have this cool uncle that goes traveling a lot and brings back this toy robot. And this robot, the younger brother takes and he starts playing with it. And one night he swears that he can hear it moving and hears it starting up by itself. And then when he wakes up and turns on the light, he sees that it's not in the same place he put it. It's actually close up to its bed as if it's walking up to him. And he freaks out and tells his older brother. His older brother tells him to relax. And then more stuff goes on. And it's very reminiscent to Night of the Living Dummy for those who have read it, those who are aware of that sort of formula. This is sort of like that formulaic kind of setup. And then the ending is this ending is so trash. Septic tank, you're heading straight down there. I was like, alright, Night of the Living Dummy is formulaic, we'll take it. Maybe this may go somewhere, it's a little bit creepy. And then the ending is just straight up right to the face. Lame ending. And that wraps up Attack of the Christmas Present. I give it 4 out of 10, really. I can give it 3 out of 10, but 4 out of 10. It's not a good one. It's not good at all. Same with Monster on the Ice. Monster on the Ice and this are both terrible stories. But Nutcracker Nightmare is so offensively boring. I still keep it as the worst story in this entire bunch. So, those are all 10 stories of More and More and More Tales to Give You Goosebumps reviewed. That is it for this book. If you like this review, again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and comment down below. How did I feel about this book? I feel like it's a pretty weak book. I'd probably give it a 5 out of 10. This is definitely the weakest of the Tales to Give You Goosebumps books I've read so far. I've only read 2, but the other one is much better than this one. And I still have 4 more to read after this, so I'm excited to read those. But this one was not that good. I did not appreciate it, did not like it. So I would not recommend this one. Sorry, Spongy, you're the single person out there who likes this and thinks it's the best Tales to Give You Goosebumps book out there. Alright, that's him, not me. I didn't like it. I think Completionist doesn't like it. Monster Boy doesn't like it. Michael Goosebumps fan did not like it. And I'm right there with you guys. I do not like this one. But it does have my favorite story out of the Tales to Give You Goosebumps book. One of them. This will be in the top 5 for sure. Why I Hate Jack Frost. And Double Dip Horror was very good as well. Solid package of a story. So yeah, that's my rating for this book. I would suggest you at least check it out to read those very good stories because you're going to need this book to check those ones out. But the rest of them, just sort of read through them, skim through, and just get over it. So that way you could get over the pain quickly. That's it for this review. Again, if you enjoyed, subscribe, like, comment. Stay tuned for more content to come. And get ready for hopefully better reviews for Tales to Give You Goosebumps books, because the next one I'll be reviewing was much better than this one and has some solid stories in there that I am really excited to talk about. So yeah, stay tuned until next time. That's it. See ya. On the 11th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 11 unresponded text messages from my mother. All right, listen. The more and more I keep doing these reviews and yelling and singing and shouting, she's going to eventually kick me out of this house. And considering where I need to go next, listen, man, living out in the train station with those crackheads, I can't do it, man. I can't do it. These bad books, man, they're risking my life over here.